Coach, we asked some of the players about the stat that's kind of making its way around this week, and that's the defense only allowing one rushing touchdown so far, or no rushing touchdown so far this season. Is that something you were aware of, or how impressive is that?
That doesn't. I mean, that's a good stat, but I wasn't aware of it. But it's a good thing. Hopefully, that'll continue. Um, it's hard to. Um, I mean, like I said, it's about eliminating points, stopping points, no matter whether they're running, throwing, whatever it is. And I think we're playing pretty good on that side of the football. But the best thing about it is there's more out there for us. We can get a lot better.
Players talked about the chemistry, the offense rooting for the defense, and vice versa. Can you talk about the way that's developed?
Well, I think it's moving in the right direction as far as that's concerned, and I think the culture and some of the things we've been preaching for the last year and a half is starting to take hold. But I don't think it's exactly where you want it yet, but I think it's getting there. To win football games, to grind it out, you got to be able to pick each other up. You have to be able to, I thought the defense picked the offense up the other day and vice versa, and we had to make some plays because we, special teams, we gave up a couple plays to start the third quarter, missed a couple tackles, and created field position for them, and we did what we needed to do to win the football game, and when we probably didn't execute as well as we needed to offensively early in the football game, but no one panicked, and we just stayed the course and found a way to win the football game.
Offensively, that first half, how much of it was, Ricky spoke about them showing a lot of stuff that he didn't see on film. How much of it was them showing different looks, and how much of it was just misexecution?
It was more misexecution than anything else. I mean, we had opportunities and we didn't take advantage of them.
As you look at Northern Iowa, just kind of talk about maybe their offense a little bit and what the challenges they pose.
They got a running quarterback, dual threat quarterback. Bailey is a good player, a good running back. They have some pretty good skill. They'll give you some couple different looks every game, but they do a bunch of things as far as trying to create situations for the quarterback, try to spread you out a little bit, create some one-on-one matchups, and it's going to be important that we're on the same page, that guys are able to adjust to formations and handle their responsibilities. When the quarterback's involved, everybody has a job to do, and you got to make sure that everybody's in the right spots.
Is it similar to South Dakota as far as their quarterback goes?
No, it's a little bit different offense. But there's some similarities. But there's some. They do a couple things a little bit differently, and everybody is a little bit unique to themselves. But some of the same challenges will exist.
Coach, obviously you haven't played this team, and they've been off the schedule for 2 weeks. Is it tough to prepare for a team? I know when you haven't seen them kind of in person and have nothing to go on, or is it kind of business as usual from your standpoint?
Business as usual. We got to take care of us, and I did a little work on them earlier in the year, and offensively, some of our guys have played against this group before, so it comes down to execution. Who taking care of the football, doing the things you need to do to win the football game, regardless of who you line up against. But we have to make sure that we're ready to execute our game plan and have a great week of preparation.
A lot of people say this is kind of the rival game when the schedule came out. This one was kind of circled because they've been off the schedule, and it's a night game. And what are your expectations Saturday, from that standpoint with the 25th anniversary and all that?
Play well. That's all I'm concerned with, is our football team.
You talked about UNI's defense in a fashion similar to how you summarize their offense.
A team that they're going to load the box a little bit and give you a couple different looks, change their fronts a little bit, and I think they're pretty aggressive. I think their front seven does a pretty good job of stopping the run, and very capable, very well coached group, and very. They play hard. They play fast, and I think they're a pretty aggressive group.
Ricky, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, but Ricky did talk about the fact that Illinois State threw some things at you that you hadn't necessarily spent a lot of time preparing for. How much do you think having to make those kinds of adjustments, especially in the first half, might help you against Northern Iowa?
Well, I don't. They're a little bit different than Illinois State is defensively, and everybody you play is going to throw you a new wrinkle here or there, but you have to be ready to react to them and handle your stuff. And I thought that we had our opportunities, we just didn't take advantage of them, and we left some plays out there, which leads to leaving some points out there. And you can't show them every single thing. There's no crystal ball. You got to execute your offense. And I don't buy into that. I mean, we had our chances. We need to play better.
You mentioned last night that a couple of missed tackles hurt you at some different points in the game. You mentioned the NFL, but sometimes you wouldn't want your player to watch the NFL because the way they tackle sometimes. I assume that's going to be even more paramount with this type of offense this week.
Yeah, you better make that. We're going to be in space a few number of times in the game, and you're going to have your responsibilities when we're there, and you have your shots. You better make them, because if there's space created, it could be bigger plays, and you got to limit them and make them have to earn every yard they get.
Mark Schuler was in coach. Can you just talk about his progression, going from a tight end to a punter?
Well, we always knew he could punt going in, and he, I think he worked hard at it in the off season, spring, summer, and during camp, and he cleaned some things up technique wise, and he's having a really good year. Hopefully that'll continue for us. He's worked hard at it, so I give him credit.
Did you learn anything from South Dakota's win over Northern Iowa, since you beat South Dakota already?
They hit some big plays on Northern Iowa, and I learn about as much from that game as I do any other game. I just kind of look at it a little bit differently, and look at each game unto itself, and see what they do, and things that they do well, things that we feel like we can attack, and kind of take everything in to develop our game plan and what we need to do to win the football game.
You guys have been outscoring opponents pretty handily in the fourth quarter. Can you attribute that to anything, or is it? I'm sure that's something you like to see.
Well, I think it needs to. I mean, that's important, because we didn't finish very well a year ago, and it ended up costing us. And but two things. Obviously, we need to start a little faster offensively than we did last week, and take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves. And I didn't like the way we came out of the locker room in the third quarter for whatever reason. We didn't respond in the third quarter to coming out of the locker room the way we need to. So that needs to get fixed.
Well, what's been the biggest, not surprise, but what are you most pleased about after 5 games with this team, maybe compared to last year at this point?
Well, I mean, I think we're a better football team now than we were a year ago at this point in the season, but we still got to. I'm seeing some things that just maturity-wise, preparation-wise, that are starting to move in the right direction, and that's where it starts. If we can continue with that, if we have greater attention to detail, we have the right mindset, we're going to have a heck of a lot better opportunity to fix the things that we need to going forward to be a better football team. It's all a process, and we're not where we need to be by any means, and every day provides us an opportunity to get better. And if we don't make use of every day, but then we're not going to become the team we're capable of becoming. But we have a long way to go, and each week's going to provide another challenge for us, and we have to be ready for it. And we were too up and down a year ago. We're less up and down right now. We're less inconsistent than we were a year ago, but we're not where we need to be. And if we keep working at it and stay with the same type of attitude we brought on the road last week, and keep grinding at it, then you know, good things will happen for us. If we don't, or we have a lull, or we'll have problems.
Ricky was in here, he says you don't like his hair now.
How long is this?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to ask you.
I don't know. You know. Well, I'm not going there.
Coach, I hope this question makes sense, and forgive me for being long-winded, but you talk a lot about 11 guys being on the same page and knowing their responsibility on any given play. Can you kind of take fans or observers like us who watch the game kind of into how you watch a specific play in terms of everybody's responsibility? Are you able to kind of see it all happening at once since you watch so much football?
Yeah, I mean, you know, especially defensively, but I mean, there are certain things that you know, that you can, that I you know, you can see. I mean, you can't see everything during the game, but you have a pretty good idea. There's certain key things that you look for in each play, according to what they're doing or what we're doing, and you know, I mean, you know, it's the little things. It's every single guy doing their job. I'll give you, for instance, you know, we're 2nd and 10, I think, on our first touchdown drive, and you know, Bird comes in, you know, whatever he is, 150 pounds, and goes out there and blocks their linebacker, holds him up. Jody gets the edge, gets 13 yards. Next thing you know, we have a first down. Huge play in the game. Huge play in the game. And, you know, kept our drive going, kept us on track. And that won't end up in the stat sheet. No one will talk about it. But that was, you know, those are the things that, the things that, you know, that make a difference in a football game and a football team. And at the end of the day, are going to help you either win or lose a football game. And, you know, I mean, that happens so much. And, you know, every guy is important. If he would have taken a play off or said, you know, my block isn't that important, you know, the ball's tackled at the line of scrimmage, next thing you know, you're 3rd and 10 and you're probably punting. So, I mean, you never know. That's a great thing about this sport, is you really never know which play in the game is going to make a difference, and what play can spell, you know, a win or a loss. And you have to have that approach. Each player has to accept that, be accountable for what he's doing, and be ready to, because you don't know which play is going to make the difference in that football game. And you have to have that approach. And I can say this, we're heading in that direction right now. We're not there yet. We were not there last year. And it cost us. And that's why we lost football games that we shouldn't have lost. And, you know, you keep pressing, and you keep trying, you keep grinding. And do I expect, are we going to play perfect? No. But I expect excellence, you know, and every player has to demand it of himself. So therefore, you can demand it to the guy next to you, and it becomes contagious. And to get that way on Saturday, you have to prepare that way. You have to practice that way. You have to attack it mentally that way, because it's not just physical; it's mental too. And that's the part of it of you know, you have to walk in every day with that type of attitude.
Tackle Nate George made, is that another play that kind of stood out, that effort play?
You huge play in the game. Like, just give us another chance. That's all we talk about. Line up, give us another chance to line up and make them have to earn it. And we tackle them at the 5-yard line. They get a couple yards. I think they got down to the 1. We get a lost yardage play, and then make the play on 3rd down. And next thing you know, they're kicking a field goal. So, obviously, a big difference in it being 3-3 or 7-3. So, you know, it's those are the types of things that are big. They don't go into the stat sheets, but and some people don't think about it. But it's something we singled out in the meeting room yesterday or Sunday.
That kind of effort, something you've seen more of than this year?
Yeah, I think, I mean, just, and the other thing about it is, when you really look back at the season last year, as well as at times that we played defensively, we did not, a couple times when, sometimes we had a lull when we took the lead, and maybe we relaxed a little bit, or we had a missed assignment or a missed technique, or somebody lost their concentration, and it allowed, so we gave up a couple leads or gave up some yards when we shouldn't have. And I thought we reacted the right way when we had the interception in the fourth quarter. First we go out there with the right type of attitude, the right sense of urgency. We get a 3 and out, and you change the football game. You get the momentum back, and those are some things that we didn't do last year, and especially on the road.
I'll give you one other chance about Ricky's hair, since you have a chance to think about it.
Hey, well, look at my hair and look at his hair. Do you think I would like it? Everybody to their own, I guess. But if it gets too long, I'll just get some hedge clippers and I'll take care of it myself.